Against the Ropes podcast.
I'm gonna ask this question. We talked a little bit about this before the podcast.
Right.
I'm sure
Where are we going with this?
It's a question.
I'm intrigued.
It's a question that I'm sure a lot of fighters are gonna ask you, and let's get into
And
it.
it's like,
of
I
course.
know.
Is sex bad? For fighting before a big fight. And
I always wanted to ask these fighters, but
Yeah.
for some reason I'm like,
I'll ask all
It's
the
kind of an
way,
awkward
maybe.
question.
Yeah.
Actual, that's a very legitimate question. A lot of fighters always ask me, especially when they start camp with me. That's like literally one of the first questions. Like they kind of, like during the camp, they kind of like they're on their break. They kind of just pull
To the side.
like Coach Andy. It's
Hey,
like,
Andy,
they're like,
hey.
it's like, I know, like why are you? He's like, why are you whispering, man? Like, Coach, I have a question. for you. He's like, what's up? And I was like, hey, so. Is it true that sex is bad for you when you're in camp? I'm like, just crack up. I'm like, okay, you don't need to whisper this. It's cool.
We're adults.
We're adults here. We're good, man. But no. It's like I've done a lot of extensive studies on that because that's a legitimate question. And currently, with a lot of what research and literature says, it all depends. It really does. There's case studies where people they had intercourse, and they go into some sort of like performance regimen and they feel great, they feel better. And then there's other controlled groups at intercourse, they go to train and it's the worst training day of their life. They just feel burnt out. So and I've taken it upon myself. I'm like, hey, it's like I told them, it's like, test it out with your girlfriend or your wife, do the business, come to trainings, and just mentally note, how do you feel? And literally, it was the same exact result. 50% said, like, dude, I felt okay. It felt like a different day. It felt like the same day, just on same training intensity. It felt normal, just a different day. Okay. And the other half was like, I felt weird. It's just they just say, I'm tired. I don't have my rhythm. It's like, and right then and there, it's like, right now it's like that's just you. It all depends. Like the best thing to do is just really just test it out. So and just to see and from there, you make that intelligent assumption. Okay, do you need to kind of abstain from it, like 2 weeks out, a week out, or are you completely okay? Maybe they need it prior to the fight. They actually might perform better because that's the whole physiology of like if we're talking about testosterone. When there's like intercourse that's happening, like there's obviously testosterone involved, and once the deed is done, hormonally, there's a hormone that's released in the male body that actually prevents further testosterone production just for a small period of time. Now, this is subjective. There's some people that this window in which testosterone production slows down, it's it's only like for a very small time, and boom, they're right back into production and they're back to normal. And then there's some people, once the deed is done and there's testosterone production slows down, it actually takes them a lot longer. And most likely these people that it takes them a lot longer to kind of like regain their testosterone production ranges. It's most likely those are the type of people that don't feel good when they go back into training. It's like, I need to take like another day just to kind of chill. Then I'll be back to normal. So it's really subjective from person to person.
Let me ask you this. How important is diet in all of this?
Oh, absolutely. For like testosterone production in general. Yes, it's crucial. It's like even water consumption, even to the point of alcohol consumption. If you drink more alcohol, your rate of testosterone production decreases. Really? Yeah, that's usually the case right there. And with diet, like obviously we're in an era where fast food is accessible. With all this processed food, it's going to hinder testosterone production. It's just not good. It's proven in literature. If you just carry too much fat cells within your body, it's going to kind of take you out of like auto-regulation. You're not going to have regular testosterone production. Your body's off. Yeah. Hormonally, everything is off. Just because you're above ranges, if your range is in obesity, like you have obesity range, then you're not going to be completely normalized, at least in a hormonal factor. So definitely, diet plays a huge factor into that.
So we know you focus on the physical training part of it. Do you also give fighters advice as to what things to eat, what's better for you, what's bad for you, things like that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not certified as a dietitian, but just we're talking more and more empirically, just by my experience. Like I have a lot of fighters always ask me questions, and I've always give my guidance to that. Even to this day, I got off a phone call, I think 3 days ago. Just someone was calling me just for advice, like, hey, it's like, what's the proper protocol to really slowly cut my fighter's weight down to a certain weight on fight week? And I just offered my advice right there. But usually what I do with all my fighters, what I like to do more carb cycling. Carb cycling is it's pretty well known in the bodybuilding world, where you do carb consumption, a good amount of carb consumption on high intensity days.